I fell in love with an essay from Jason Pargin where he said, accept that all of your heroes are full of shit. Your heroes aren't gods. They're just regular people who got good at one thing by sacrificing literally everything else.
There's no one in the parking lot except for my car. And everyone else probably getting home from some party right now because bars are closed right now too. They're probably going to sleep and they're probably going to have to wake up and apologize to somebody for however way they act, because that's not who they really are. They're chemically induced to be a certain way, to have the social lubricants or be able to talk, to be liked, and so they take something in order to be that guy. It's like people that do steroids, whatever else. I have to take this to be all that, but who I am as an individual isn't quite good enough. That's why I need to take something and become somebody else. It's a sad reality. Coming here at night and, I don't know what it is about it, man. But man, it's just the air smells a little bit better right now. When you say you're gonna do something and then you follow through and you do it, not at the end when you cross the marathon, you finish it, or your hands raised. I'm talking about right now. The small steps in between the big successes that everyone sees. No one sees this. Right now, I'm saying there's a confidence to it, man. There's a bad motherfucker that's right here, that's getting ahead of the competition. There's an overwhelming sense of fulfillment and pride and satisfaction with that.
2017, I sacrificed everything, and the same thing in 2018. There was so much sacrifice. I really didn't have a social life in 2018, and it got to a point I remember back beginning of 2019, I was in Bali and one of my best friends was visiting me. My mom was visiting me, and I was there with my ex-girlfriend as well as my old personal trainer. And the four of them almost sat me down and had an ultimatum. They're like, you're not there. You're not here with us. And the biggest thing was sacrifice. Sacrifice to the point where business was all I thought about 24/7. And I've since then in 2020 and 2021 and also the second half of 2019, I've realized, you don't need to. I've realized that working harder or thinking about something 24/7 isn't actually going to get you anywhere closer to your goal. A lot of times it's those meditative moments when you're in the steam room, you're in the sauna, where you're meditating, where you're walking, but without music or without texting anyone. And that's really where those flashes of brilliance come to you. But all of this is to say sacrificing your 20s. I think your 20s honestly are for sacrifice. So we also, if you sacrifice up until you're 27, you still have many, many good years to go out there, have a good dating life, meet a bunch of very interesting people. And if you can sacrifice those early 20s, it really does set you up for the rest of your life.
How could I make things better? It's something like that. And that's like, what sacrifices do I need to make in order to make things better? That's a good question to ask yourself. You could ask yourself that every morning. What sacrifice do I have to make things better? You can decide what constitutes better. How about that? Then it's not even as if it's being imposed on you. Come up with your own notion of what constitutes better. Try to make it sophisticated. It should just be better for you, because that isn't going to work very well, right? You're just going to fall downstairs if you do that, because you have to live with other people. And besides, it's stupid anyways. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can even say about that. It's so, that's the attitude of a very badly behaved, hyper-aggressive 2-year-old. And I mean that technically. And so you could ask yourself, well, how I have this day that lays itself out in front of me. What thing could I let go of that's impeding my progress, that if I let go of would make my life better, my family's life better, my culture's life better, my being better? And then that would give you something to do for the day, wouldn't it? To justify your miserable life. You do have the sense of yourself as something that stretches across the decades. Okay, and so what that means is that you have to conduct yourself in a manner that isn't merely immediate. You have to conduct yourself in a manner that will work across time. Now, how do people do that? They work. Work is a sacrificial gesture. So you work, by definition, virtually. Work is the sacrifice of the present for the future. I mean, maybe someone can come up with a better definition of work than that, but I don't think so. It's like you put in time and effort right now. It's something, even if it's something maybe not what you'd like to be doing at the moment, you put in time and effort because you believe, what the hell does that mean? You believe it'll pay off.
you guys, it really comes down to this. You can either right, sacrifice temporary fun for permanent dreams, or sacrifice your permanent dreams for temporary fun. And the reality is a lot of you guys are willing to sacrifice your permanent dreams for some temporary fun.
Yeah.
And that temporary fun is never gonna get you fucking anywhere. Because I'll tell you this, going to the club, partying, drinking, popping bottles, are those people gonna be there 10 years from now when you're fucking brokey wondering what the fuck you did in the years that you were supposed to be productive? Let me tell you something, they won't fucking be there.
Roll the clock forward now. So talking about the price that people pay to be the person that you admire. Everyone would look at Tiger Woods narrowly bound, like, I want to be as good of a golfer as Tiger Woods. And you go, yeah, okay, but do you want the childhood? Do you want to spend nearly half a decade out of the sport with injury because of how hard you've pushed yourself? Do you want to struggle with self-worth to the point where you basically can't have a long-term marriage? Do you want to be chased down this driveway with your wife in a golf club? He fell asleep at the wheel, he broke both of his legs not long ago, he's been on antipsychotics. Like, that is the price that you pay to have that degree of greatness. It's a onesie, right? It's not an outfit that you can pick little different bits about. You don't get to choose one element of someone and say, I want that. It's like, no. All of these externalities, all of the things that you really don't want, they came along for the ride as well. So this guy loves playing pickleball, and he gets to turn up on a Saturday and play with his friends. And, if it's cold outside, he doesn't need to go and play. And if he's tired, he doesn't need to go and play. And if he's hungover, he doesn't need to go and play. And then he decides to turn pro. And he thinks, I'm turning pro at this thing that I love. I can't wait to make what I love into my career. But he doesn't realize that, hey, guess what? If you're hungover, you still need to go and train. Well, actually, no, you don't get to be hungover anymore, because the guy that isn't hungover is the guy that's training better. So you now need to stop going out with your friends, and you need to train when it's cold, and you need to work on game tape and mindset and hydration and nutrition. You need to do S&C, and you need to have a physio, and you need to not see your family as much. All of these things came along for the ride as soon as you decided to turn pro. Is that a price that you're prepared to pay? And that's an interesting question to ask yourself. Am I prepared to sacrifice my pure, unencumbered, unmolested love for this thing in order to try and become the best at this thing?
I want you to enjoy the journey. I want you to remember that these are your glory years. These years right now as a teenager, and especially in your early teens even, these are the years you're gonna look back at with fondness, because these are the years that you built. You built your character, the person that you were going to become. I can tell you right now that my most fond years were probably the year before I started my first ever business when I was 16, and the couple years after that. The years where things were tough, they were not easy. I was making sacrifices. It was difficult at the time, but I have so much appreciation for it now. So please, if things are difficult or they're hard right now, take a moment to appreciate it, because these are the years you're gonna be talking about in a decade, 2 decades.
You know, I'll tell you something in full honesty, full transparency. The way that I live right now is not cohesive to being the best partner that I could potentially be, to being the best son I could potentially be. My interpersonal relationships is not cohesive to that, because I have so much burden and so much stress on my shoulders and so many things to manage at any given time. And such a massive organization, as I said, to be the captain of and make sure that our ship is safe and it's going in the right direction. I forget birthdays all the time. I don't call my mom every day. And if you're a good friend or a good son, you do those things, or at least you strive to. Now, that's where I am right now. In 10 years or 5 years, it could be a totally different story. In some ways in life, you need to be selfless, but in some ways, you also need to be selfish in the sense of, I think when it comes to your morals and your principles and your dreams and your aspiration, no one can take that away from you. I think it would be unfair for someone to take that away from you.
I agree.
And keep in mind, you're still working a regular job. You still have your social life. You still have all these other things going on. Guess what's gonna happen when you start the side business? Oh, a magical thing. Those bitches and those dates and all that social time that you used to have, it's gone now, nigga, it's gone. It's gone. Because as soon as you spend that money, you no longer are going to do all the fuck shit that you used to do when you had your regular job. Like I told y'all before, this isn't for everybody. Are you prepared to sacrifice? You want to really be an entrepreneur while simultaneously having your other job? This is going to be the hardest part, because you'll be working a regular job 40, 50 hours per week, and you're gonna be working on your business. Are you prepared to make the actual sacrifices? A lot of you faggots aren't. Let's give it 1,000. A lot of you guys just want to sit there and let you do it and do some bullshit on the side, not make any money. It's not a business, it's a fucking hobby. So ask yourself, look in the mirror, are you really ready to do this? Are you prepared to cut off friends? Are you prepared to not go on vacation? Are you prepared to sit there and go to your real job with 1 hour of sleep because you're building your business all fucking night? I was. That's how the fuck I did it. I told y'all, I was a federal agent arresting fucking criminals while simultaneously running a fucking fitness business. I had no social life at that time. But it's okay because I'm here now because I made that sacrifice. Are you ready to make that sacrifice?
We're talking about sacrifice now. The important thing is this. You're right in why I'm saying it, because I only have about 3 more minutes. Listen to me. The most important thing is this: to be able at any moment to sacrifice what you are for what you will become. That's the number 2 thing. You got to catch that one. To be able to, listen to me, at any moment. Some of you can make sacrifices when Monday Night Football is not on. You can make a sacrifice. But when the game come on, for some reason, you just attach to it. For some of you, when your favorite show come on, you can make sacrifices on Sunday when ain't nothing going on. But when your favorite show comes on Monday, bam, some of you focus until the phone ring, and then you like, I gotta answer it. If I don't answer the phone, I'm gonna die. I'm saying to you today that there are some of you, if you give up your cell phone, you would be successful. But your cell phone is more important to you than your success. I'm gonna say it again, I'm gonna hurt somebody. I'm gonna hurt somebody. Some of you need to give up your cell phone because the time you spend on your cell phone could be used for your success. The time you could be using to be successful, you're using it on the cell. And the cell phone is not bringing you nothing but a bill. And somebody has told you you couldn't live without it. I'm talking about going deep now, giving up stuff. Watch what it says. To be able at any moment to sacrifice what we are for what we could be. I don't do well in math. You're right. You ain't never studied. I'm not good in writing because you have never written before. But I dare you to fail in writing for a whole year to see if you can get to the end. I dare you to fail. I dare you to take that same class over and over again. I dare you to stop dropping classes like you soft.
I'd say the most difficult aspect of it is getting through that really shit and frustrating phase where you know what you can do, but it just hasn't come into fruition yet. And the thing that makes it quite difficult a lot of times is the social aspect of it. The thing that makes it quite difficult a lot of times is the fact that, as I said, you're writing this down every single day. Maybe you're telling your friends, maybe your friends don't see it. Maybe you're telling your parents and your parents don't quite see where you're trying to get to, or they can't wrap their head around it. And I just want to implore you to keep pushing. Like, just disregard it. You know, I always say just put 1 foot forward in front of the other. Put your head down. Focus on the pavement, focus on the road. 1 foot forward in front of the other. Just left, right, left, right. And you do that for years. And then you look back and go, fuck. You know, I can't believe how far I've come.